guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another makeup tutorial for this gold like smoky look, so let's go ahead and get started. I started off using the Makeup Revolution Concealer to prime my eyes as usual. I do not set my concealer with powder because I feel like my eyeshadows turn up a lot more pigmented that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and carve my brows out first and then just go ahead and apply the concealer all over the eyelid to use as my primer. I'm gonna go ahead and add my little tape next just to create that like nice sharp look for me once I'm done, and then we're gonna jump into eyeshadows. For this look, I'm using the Born to Run palette by Urban Decay. This palette has a beautiful array of pigmented matte eyeshadows, so super excited to play with it and create a look with this palette. So I'm gonna start off using the shade Baja and applying this onto the crease so we have a nice beautiful wash of color behind the darker colors that we're gonna use later on. Then to blend the edges of that lash shadow, I'm going in with the shade Still Shot from the palette and applying this all over the edges just to make sure there are no harsh lines. I'm also going to go back in with that last eyeshadow Baja and just reapply it onto the crease just to make sure I don't lose the intensity of that color. So now it's time to start smoking this look out. I'm gonna go ahead and use Punk from the palette and apply this onto the outer corner as well as the crease. When I'm working with darker eyeshadows, I definitely prefer to use smaller brushes because it gives me more control over where I place the eyeshadow and how far the eyeshadow kind of is blown out. Usually when I'm doing looks like these and I'm working with like a really intense like dark eyeshadow, I try to use a smaller eyeshadow brush so I have a little bit more control as to where the eyeshadow kind of starts and stops. So next I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting my crease. I'm using another Makeup Revolution concealer. This one is in the shade C1. I always use this concealer to cut my crease, or if I'm using some sort of lighter or brighter eyeshadow for the lid area. I'm cutting my crease all the way through basically, and you just want to make sure that the edges are nice and smooth so that way when you put on your next few colors onto the lid, everything is nice and sharp. So for the lid, I'm going to go into Stranded. This is a really pretty goldy shade. I'm just going to pack that onto the lid area and just make sure that I'm getting really close to the edges there. I really wanted to do a dramatic liner for this look. I haven't done like liner in a lot of my looks these days, so I feel like a really like bold liner, kind of smoked out on the edge, would look really, really pretty with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Pretty Vulgar ink gel liner, and I'm using a small little angled brush. So the key to this step is you just wanna make sure that the outer corner of your gel liner is really well blended because we're gonna add a black eyeshadow later on. So just to make everything really smooth and transition really well, you just wanna make sure that the gel liner on the outer corner is blended into that darker brown eyeshadow that we applied earlier. If you feel like your gel liner isn't smooth enough, you can go in with a liquid liner like I'm doing right here. This is the NYX matte liquid liner, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a very small amount onto the edges of my gel liner just to make sure everything is really, really smooth and crisp. So now I'm going in with some black eyeshadow. There wasn't a matte black eyeshadow in the palette, so I just went in with Noir from Anastasia. I'm going to use this to basically continue blending out that gel liner that I applied earlier and kind of bring it up a little bit onto the crease just to kind of transition into like the dark brown. And you just want to make sure you go back in with that same brush that you used to apply the dark brown just to make sure the black eyeshadow is blended and it's not like harsh and everything. So to create that foiled look that I have on the other eye, I'm using these Nicka liquid eyeshadows. I mixed two of the colors together. I really like these, but they do flake a little bit, so that's just something to look out for if you do pick them up. But they're only $3, so kind of like take like the good with the bad with these. I'm gonna add some mascara to my lashes before I pop on my falsies. The lashes that I'm wearing are from Bold Face Makeup in the style Bigger is Better. I'm just gonna pop these on using some tweezers, then move right onto skin. First, I'm going in with the Clinique All About Eyes eye cream just to moisturize my under eyes because I do have pretty dry under eyes. For this look, I used two different primers. The first, I used the Urban Decay Rebound Prepping Spray, and I also used their Urban Defense Complexion Primer. This primer has a lot of slip to it, so that's just something to be mindful about if you do decide to use it, but I just love the way it made like my pores look and my skin look in general. Like everything was like really smooth, so I really like this one. And then for my foundation, I'm gonna use the Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream in the shade Walnut. This one is super full coverage, so you only need like max like a pump of this foundation for a full face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stipple that in using a flat brush and just make sure everything is really well blended into the skin. For concealer, I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter. I promise this is not like an Urban Decay like sponsored video. I just got a lot of their stuff in PR, and I also bought some of their stuff from Sephora. So I wanted to kind of like try it all, and I thought it'd be best to just put it all in one video. But the All Nighter concealer I really like. This one is in the shade Medium Dark Warm. My only thing that I would probably suggest is work in sections with this concealer because it does dry pretty fast. So maybe do like one under eye first, blend it out, and then do the other one. Other than that, I really love this concealer. It's super full coverage and the finish is absolutely beautiful. So to set everything, I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade Light Medium, and I'm just gonna apply this onto all the areas that I applied concealer. So under the eyes, a little bit on the forehead, on the sides of my mouth, my smile lines, because I do tend to crease there. To bronze, I'm using the Anastasia bronzer in the shade Cappucino. I just recently picked this one up and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I feel like it's a little too red for me. I think next time I'm shopping, I'll probably just get Saddle. That one's supposed to be like the next color down because I do like a warm bronze type of look, but I think this one is just a little too red for me. But moving on, I'm gonna go ahead and contour, also using the Anastasia powder contouring kit. This one is in the shade Tan to Deep, and I'm using the deepest shade in the palette to sculpt out the cheeks just a little bit more. Moving back to the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and line my waterline using a black liner from Jouer. I'm taking this into the waterline, but I'm also going to drag it into the lash line as well. Then once I feel like it's really dark under my lashes, I'm going to go ahead and smudge it using a small little shader brush. I thought a pop of color would look really cute with this look, so I added Wanderlust onto the lower lash line, and I'm just using that to basically continue smoking out the lower lash line and smudging out the eyeliner that I applied before. To re-intensify that black liner that we applied earlier, I'm going back in with Noir from Anastasia and applying that onto the lash line, and I'm also going to go ahead and extend this into the outer corner of the eyes. Then I'm going into Big Sky from the palette, and I'm going to use this to blend out the edges of Wanderlust. Before I work on my brows, I'm going to add some lash primer to my lower lashes, so that way I get a nice full look when I apply my mascara. And for my brows, I'm going in with the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Ebony. I'm then going to add some Mario Badescu Rose Water Facial Spray to mold all of my powders together, and then we're going to go into highlights. I'm using the Artist Couture highlighter in the shade Illuminati today, and I'm applying this on all the high points as usual, so the cheekbones, on the bridge of my nose, tip of the nose, a little bit on the forehead, cupid's bow, and chin. Then to complete the eyes, I also added some of that highlighter onto the inner corners. I'm going to do my last setting spray, which is the Urban Decay All Nighter, then move on to lips. I'm using the ColourPop lip pencil in the shade BFF3 first, then going in with CoverGirl's Queen Collection matte lipstick in the shade Cakewalk. I love this color, it's like a really cute nude. Then I'm going in with ColourPop's lip liner in the shade Pitch. And that pretty much concludes this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's super glam. I really loved how it came out. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and a thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video.